I think Dustin has more chance.
Yeah.
He told me it's his last fight, and I think he gonna be ready. I really like respect more two guys, Volkanovski and Dustin. He's
Yeah.
a really nice guy,
Yeah.
and I sent a message yesterday to
two different trilogies and went 0-3. So at the end of the day, I'm focused on going out there, getting my hand raised. Shout out to DP. He a diamond. He's a beast, bro. He's an animal. He's a legend. And I know it's his last dance, but I gotta play the spoiler here. I need I need this one.
Islam Makhachev isn't holding back when it comes to UFC 318, and he's made it clear that Max Holloway should be on high alert for what Dustin Poirier has in store. With only weeks left until one of the most anticipated trilogy bouts in UFC history, Makhachev has thrown his full support behind Poirier and even hinted at a secret technique that could decide the fight. The stakes are higher than ever, and the BMF title isn't the only thing on the line. It's also about legacy, revenge, and one final shot at glory.
I think Dustin has more chance.
Yeah.
He told me it's his last fight, and I think he gonna be ready. He gonna be ready, and he gonna win, I think.
The UFC 318 main event promises fireworks, with Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway meeting for the third and final time inside the octagon. Scheduled to take place on June 19th at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, the fight will not only determine who walks away with the coveted BMF title, but it will also serve as the final chapter of Poirier's legendary career. As he prepares to hang up his gloves, Poirier is looking to leave the sport on a high note, while Holloway is aiming to spoil that farewell moment.
It means a lot. It's a great opportunity, great way to close out a great career that I'm proud of. Another trophy to put in the trophy case. It's great. Everything's happening at the perfect time.
What's kind of been your approach going into this one? Obviously, you faced Max Holloway before. How has your approach kind of been as you've trained going into this one, especially with this being your last ride?
I tried to get into like the middle space of this last one, try to do everything right, not that I didn't before, but just try to be extra. Like I started my diet a few weeks before I even left to come out for training camp. And I've been in South Florida for 8 weeks now.
Islam Makhachev, the former UFC lightweight champion and a dominant force in his own right, has weighed in heavily on this matchup. In a recent interview with MMA Junkie, Makhachev revealed that he expects Poirier to emerge victorious. He shared that Poirier personally told him this would be his last fight, and based on that, Makhachev believes the Diamond will come fully prepared and focused. What stood out most was Makhachev's deep respect for Poirier, not something he easily gives out. Alongside Alexander Volkanovski, Poirier is one of only 2 opponents Makhachev has openly admired, praising their sportsmanship and character outside the cage.
Yeah, I had him on my podcast yesterday. He seems like he's in a very good place. It's hard to walk away at this, when you're on top of the game though, right? It's respectful.
Yeah. Dustin also very good guy.
Yeah.
From my opponent, I really respect more two guys, Volkanovski and Dustin. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And I sent a message yesterday to...
This isn't just another fight for Poirier, it's his last dance. The final walk to the octagon after an impressive career filled with memorable wars, titles, and triumphs. And while he already holds a 2-0 advantage over Holloway in their previous meetings, this third bout feels different. For Poirier, there's pressure to end things right. No elite fighter wants to go out on a loss, especially not against someone they've already beaten twice. Stylistically, the matchup is striking heavy.
So just try to get ahead of everything, We'll try to make the last one the best one and show the world that I'm walking away from this sport, not because I feel like I can't compete with these guys or anything like that. I'm not getting squeezed out of the sport. I'm not letting the sport retire me. I want to go out there, have an incredible performance, and leave on my terms.
Both men are known for their relentless pace, crisp boxing, and heart, traits that have made them fan favorites. With their styles clashing once more, it's a fight that could easily steal the show and live up to the hype.
The BMF title is cool and everything, and making history is great. But the main thing, the main history I ain't trying to make is trying to be a man who fought 2 different trilogies and went 0-3. So at the end of the day, I'm focused on going out there, getting my hand raised. Shout out to DP. a diamond. He's a beast, bro. He's an animal. He's a legend. And you know, I know it's his last dance, but I gotta play the spoiler here. You know, I need this one.
Their rivalry began back in 2012 at UFC 143 when a young Dustin Poirier handed Max Holloway his first professional defeat in a featherweight contest. Fast forward 7 years, they met again in 2019, this time for the interim lightweight championship. Poirier once again came out on top, defeating Holloway via unanimous decision and securing the interim title. That second win not only deepened their rivalry, but also solidified Poirier's dominance in their head-to-head history.
You know, the message that I'm trying to send is that I'm still here. You know, I know this is Dustin's retirement fight, but his last fight was for a title. I still have title contentions in my mind.
Max is doing good. He's just starting to get back into it, so pretty excited about getting that work in with him.
Right now, it's just all gas, no break.
Now, 13 years after their first meeting, it all comes full circle. Holloway, currently holding the BMF belt, isn't just fighting to defend a title, he's fighting for redemption and personal pride. The Hawaiian fan favorite is laser focused on doing what he couldn't do in their previous encounters, beat Poirier. He's admitted that despite the respect he has for his opponent, he's not interested in letting Poirier ride off into the sunset with a win. Instead, he plans to play the spoiler and rewrite the narrative of their rivalry. For Holloway, it's about settling the score and proving that he too belongs among the elite at lightweight.
Max is hittable.
He was Max's first fight, and Max is going to be his last. You know, those two dudes are absolute legends of the sport and warriors, and it's good. It's anytime either one of them fight, I'm watching, and then you just get a good 2 for 1 to get to watch both of them fight as they go against each other. I think either fight could have won either way.
Well, not the first one because he submitted him, but yes, I know what you mean.
You're right, not the first one, but I think the fight can go either way. You know, they're just those guys that are always have that skill, have that level to where they always give themselves a chance. So we're gonna see.
What adds another layer of motivation for Holloway is his past trilogy experience. Having already lost 3 times to Alexander Volkanovski in a fiercely contested 3-fight series, Holloway knows the sting of coming up short across multiple matchups. That memory is pushing him harder than ever. He's determined not to become known as the fighter who went 0-3 in not 1, but 2 separate trilogies. It's a mental hurdle he's not willing to let define his legacy. For Holloway, this fight is more than just about belts and history. It's personal. It's a chance to correct the past and avoid repeating the same outcome.
I mean, he's only, bro, I'm 0-2 against him, you know what I mean? And then Hawaii is 3, he's 0-3 against him because Jans fought him too, so. Yeah, he fought Jans in Louisiana, actually. I kind of just got told that from one of our coaches, so I was like, man, we got to get this back, bro. Hawaii got to get one, bro.
Yes.
Hawaii got to get one, you know what I mean? And it's the BMF title, and I keep hearing people say if he wins, then they take the title away and they retire the title. So I'm like, bro, this ain't happening.
It's your title.
Yeah, this ain't happening yet. So at the end of the day, I'm good friends with Korean Zombie. You know, I retired one legend. You know what I mean? So, hopefully we can keep the ball rolling on retirements, and I can get this one.
Even though the BMF title adds a flashy headline to the bout, both fighters are focused on something deeper. Poirier is looking to cement his farewell with a final win over one of the division's toughest fighters. Holloway is striving to break the pattern of falling short in trilogies. For both men, this isn't just about who's tougher or who lands more shots. It's about identity, legacy, and walking away with their heads held high.
Yeah, I'd probably go Poirier, I guess, would my guess. But yeah, I can't count Max out either. But Poirier is just a heavy hitter, and Max.
Paddy Pimblett is also one of those people. He recently shared his thoughts on a podcast with Eric Nixick, where he offered an unexpected prediction. According to Pimblett, Holloway's drive to settle old scores might be what pushes him over the line. Holloway, after all, hasn't forgotten what Poirier took from him. It wasn't just the loss in his UFC debut, it was also the end of a 13-fight win streak and the missed opportunity to become a 2-division champion when they fought for the interim lightweight belt.
Against it.
I know, that's what I mean. Imagine it'd be heavy for Holloway that, like, if there's 2 different fighters who've beat him 3 times.
Yeah.
I
didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I seen him say something like, he took a lot from me. He took me first, give me my first loss. and he took away me like 8-fight win streak or whatever it was, so I'm going to take his retirement fight.
Pimblett reflected on Holloway's mindset, saying that the Hawaiian appears deeply motivated by what's at stake. He believes Holloway has revenge on his mind and sees this fight as a chance to finally take something meaningful from Poirier, especially as the fan favorite heads into retirement.
So I think
that's cold.
Yeah,
That's tight. Yeah,
I think Holloway's motivated, like, and I can see Holloway winning, to be honest. Don't know why. I think it's just one of them. Why Dustin fighting in his hometown, his last fight, everyone expects him to win. The pressure. I think it might.
Man, you picked Holloway too. Like, he could have probably picked someone that was a little more favorable. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you know why?
He might think it's a bit more favorable because he's beaten twice, though.
Sure, I think so. I think so. Yeah, but I mean, but it's also the business move because you need to have a title for a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And that's, you don't need that
right?
shit. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Who's going to walk out first? Who's going to walk out second? Because they're saying
you
it's
can't have Poirier walk out first.
That's what I mean. They're saying it's the BMF belt, his hometown. He's coming out.
Charles Oliveira, who has shared the cage with both men, added his voice to the conversation. While his bout with Holloway was short due to an injury, he still saw enough to analyze the Hawaiian's strengths. Oliveira respects Holloway's constant movement and volume striking, but says Poirier's boxing is sharper.
Cara, quando eu lutei com o Holloway, eu não tive a luta, né, porque foi muito rápido por causa que eu tive uma lesão, né? Eu acho o Holloway um cara que se movimenta muito, um cara que pega. Mas, cara, o Dustin Poirier é um cara que eu tenho respeito gigantesco.
According to him, Dustin fights with more precision and heavier hands, making him a more dangerous striker overall. Oliveira even went as far as calling Poirier the best boxer he's ever faced in MMA. Add in the emotional factor of fighting at home, and Oliveira thinks Dustin might have the edge.
Pra mim, de todos que eu lutei, é o cara que tem um boxe mais afiado, é o cara que bate mais consciente, tem a mão muito pesada, né? Sabe jogar o jogo, vai lutar na casa praticamente, então eu acho que o Poirier ganha. O Poirier tá muito mais consciente, tá ligado? Eu acho que tipo, vai lutar muito consciente, muito malada pra se tornar campeão, é a última luta dele, é a aposentadoria, então vai lutar muito mais consciente do que já lutou.
All the attention, however, remains glued to the main event. It's more than just a fight, it's a story of redemption, legacy, and the unforgiving nature of combat sports. Poirier, a fan favorite known for his grit and humility, wants to walk away on his terms. After years of wars with names like Gaethje, McGregor, and Oliveira, this fight feels like the right end to a storied career.
Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway at the Smoothie King Arena. This is going to be sensational because both of these men have had glittering careers. As I say, this is the final time we're going to get to see Dustin Poirier fight, and it'll be an emotional night inside that building, I'm telling you. Dustin Poirier is a great human being, a phenomenal fighter, and some of the performances have just been incredible. Let's have a look at his record here. The man overall has had 40 professional fights, 30 wins, 9 losses. Of course, last time out lost to Islam Makhachev. Before that, Benoit Saint-Denis, a crazy fight, okay, where he got the stoppage in the second round after almost getting annihilated in the first round, was head kick knocked out by Justin Gaethje. That was another one that potentially could have been the final fight for Dustin Poirier, because those guys, they're 1-on-1.
The Smoothie King Center will be rocking on July 19th, not just for the quality of fights on the card, but for the magnitude of what's on the line. It's a farewell that fans won't want to miss, not just because it could be the final time they see Poirier compete, but because the matchup itself could be one for the ages.
Dustin just got off the Pat McAfee show, and Dustin went on and announced that he will be fighting Max in New Orleans. And it wasn't just the UFC getting on board with this, it was also New Orleans. New Orleans came to the table with a pile of money to get this event to New Orleans, right? And I just think that's very respectful. Generally, I wouldn't mention something like that, but I think that's very respectful to Poirier. And I think the way that the organization is treating Poirier, look, nobody gets to go out on top. And if you're good enough to, if you're Robbie Lawler and you're George St. Pierre or you're Lennox Lewis or you're Khabib, and you can pull out one of those moments.
There's also the psychological element. Curtis Blades pointed out that the pressure might actually be heavier on Poirier this time around. Fighting at home, in front of a crowd that will be both emotionally invested and expectant, could make this a more stressful night than usual. Add to that the fact that it's his final appearance, and the weight of the moment could be overwhelming. Everyone expects him to go out on a high note, and that expectation brings a pressure Holloway doesn't carry in quite the same way.
I have no idea. It's just gonna be a war. It'll probably go to decision. I hope it goes to a decision. It's gonna be an epic fight. I want Holloway to win just because I'm a bigger Holloway fan. I am Poirier, but I'm a fan of them both. But I'm a bigger Holloway guy.
So you're going with Holloway or going with Poirier?
I'm gonna go with Holloway, but I wouldn't be upset if it was Poirier. I respect him that much, and I know it's gonna be a war.
The stakes at UFC 318 extend far beyond titles or rankings. For Dustin Poirier, this fight marks the end of a remarkable journey, a final chapter he hopes to finish with pride in his home state of Louisiana. After 16 years of unforgettable wars, emotional setbacks, and career-defining victories, he's preparing to walk away from the sport that shaped his legacy. Stepping into the cage at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, surrounded by his people, Poirier believes there's no more fitting opponent to share his farewell moment with than Max Holloway.
Seems like you like trilogies now. How did this come together that he would be the final opponent?
I don't even know how this came together. But yeah, I've been in some trilogies now, I guess. This one's different. Usually it's like 1-1 or, you know, I'm 2-0 on Max. But he's a legend and a great fighter and a great champion. And like we spoke about earlier, just see the things he's done in his career from that young kid I fought in his debut. All the way full circle, I was his first fight in the UFC. Now he's going to be my last fight in the UFC. So it's just, it's crazy. But when I lay the gloves down in July, there's nobody else like that I would rather have fought my last fight than Max Holloway.
The anticipation for UFC 318 continues to build as fight night nears. Fans are excited, experts are making their picks, and the fighters themselves are embracing the gravity of the moment. Poirier wants to walk away with a storybook ending, while Holloway is determined to flip the script and make sure that goodbye is bittersweet. With their striking skills, iron chins, and unshakable drive, both men are built for war. But only one will leave the octagon with their hand raised. And whether it's Poirier's perfect send-off or Holloway's redemption tale, the world will be watching. UFC 318 is more than just a trilogy fight. It's a battle of wills, a clash of legacies, and the emotional end to one of the sport's most respected careers. Don't miss a second of the build-up. Smash that like button, subscribe for all the latest UFC updates, and drop your prediction in the comments. Who do you think wins? Poirier or Holloway? Let the debate begin.